Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. If you're someone who receives SASSA payments, knows a loved one who does, or simply wants to stay informed about how social support is evolving in South Africa, then this video is for you. We've got some breaking updates that could impact millions of people across the nation starting in June 2025. The South African Social Security Agency, commonly known as SASSA, has confirmed that major changes are coming next month that could reshape how grants are distributed, who qualifies, and how much money is being disbursed. These updates are causing ripples of concern and curiosity across the country, and today we're diving deep into what's coming, what it means for you, and what you can do to prepare. So sit tight, because we're about to break it all down for you. First off, let's set the stage with a bit of background. SASSA is responsible for administering social grants to South Africans who need financial support. These grants include the Older Persons Grant, Disability Grant, Child Support Grant, Foster Child Grant, Care Dependency Grant, and the Social Relief of Distress (SRD) grant. Over the years, millions have come to rely on these payments for survival, and in many households, SASSA is the only consistent form of income. With that context in mind, any change, big or small, to how these grants work can send shockwaves through communities. And this time, the changes are not just administrative, they could affect the frequency, amount, and method of how grants are paid. Now, here's the headline. Starting in June 2025, SASSA will begin rolling out a series of adjustments that will impact every category of social grant. These changes are not just speculative, they are part of a new directive from the Department of Social Development, which has been working in collaboration with the Treasury and various stakeholders to ensure the long-term sustainability of social support in South Africa. One of the most talked about changes is the restructuring of payment dates. Traditionally, SASSA grants have been paid out in a staggered manner to avoid long queues and system overloads, but starting next month, the agency is moving toward a more synchronized and uniform payment schedule. Under the new system, SASSA will adopt a standardized date range for grant disbursements, which is intended to reduce confusion among beneficiaries and increase efficiency. Instead of waiting for individual categories to be paid out on different days, all grant recipients may receive their funds within the same 5-day window, starting from the 1st of each month. This change aims to simplify the process, especially for those who care for multiple dependents and receive more than one type of grant. However, some critics warn that this could cause bottlenecks at pay points and ATMs, especially in rural areas where digital access is limited. To mitigate this risk, SASSA says it will increase the number of mobile payment units and expand banking partnerships to ensure smoother transactions. Another significant update involves the actual value of the grants. There has been an outcry for years from civil society groups and recipients who argue that current grant amounts are not keeping up with inflation or the rising cost of living. In response, the government has proposed a phased increase in grant amounts starting in June. For example, the Older Persons Grant, currently sitting at 2,090, will see an increment of around 100, bringing it up to 2,190. The Child Support Grant, which many believe is severely underfunded, will increase from R530 to R600. Disability grants and care dependency grants are also expected to rise by R90 each. While these increases may seem modest, they represent a step in the right direction and could make a meaningful difference for struggling families. But it doesn't end there. The SRD grant, which was introduced during the COVID-19 pandemic and extended multiple times due to ongoing economic hardship, is also facing a major transformation. Previously set at 350, this grant has been criticized for being too low to cover even basic needs. Starting in June, however, the SRD grant will be increased to a 543% boost. More importantly, the eligibility criteria for this grant are being revised to include more people. For instance, previously, those who had any form of income no matter how small were often excluded. Now, the income threshold has been raised to 780, allowing many informal workers, part-time earners, and gig economy participants to qualify. This move acknowledges the changing landscape of employment in South Africa and offers a safety net for those who fall through traditional cracks. SASSA is also making strides to modernize its systems. From June 2025 onwards, beneficiaries will be encouraged and in some cases required to update their payment method preferences. While physical pay points and post-bank services will remain in place, digital banking is being pushed as the preferred method. Why? Because it's faster, more secure, and less susceptible to administrative delays. SASSA will be launching a new mobile app where beneficiaries can track their payment status, update personal information, lodge appeals, and even report fraud. The agency hopes this tech-forward approach will reduce long lines, decrease the potential for corruption, and improve user experience. However, these digital advancements come with their own challenges. There's widespread concern about whether older recipients or people in remote areas with limited internet access will be able to adapt to the new systems. To address this, SASSA is rolling out an education campaign starting in mid-May. The campaign will include community workshops, local radio broadcasts, and printed pamphlets in multiple languages to help people understand the upcoming changes and how to use the new tools. Additionally, customer support hotlines will be expanded and staff will receive additional training to assist those who experience difficulties during the transition. Let's also talk about verification protocols. One of the ongoing problems with SASSA grants has been the issue of fraud either through impersonation or falsified applications. To combat this, SASSA will be introducing a more rigorous biometric verification system starting in June. Fingerprint scans and facial recognition will be implemented at certain pay points and integrated into the new mobile platform. While this might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, it's actually becoming quite common in welfare systems globally. The idea is to ensure that the right person gets the right money, and no one takes advantage of a system designed to support the vulnerable. That said, there will be opt-in windows and exemption clauses for individuals with disabilities or those who face difficulty with biometric systems. Additionally, the government is taking steps to improve accountability and responsiveness within SASSA itself. A new internal audit division will be established to ensure funds are allocated correctly, payments are processed on time, and public complaints are addressed swiftly. This division will publish quarterly reports accessible to the public, allowing for greater transparency and trust in the system. There will also be a whistleblower portal where individuals can report irregularities or corruption anonymously. These initiatives reflect a growing understanding that trust is vital to the long-term success of public welfare programs. One major concern that has surfaced amid these changes is the funding source. With increased grant amounts, better technology, and expanded eligibility, many people are asking, where is the money coming from? According to the Department of Finance, the increases will be funded through a combination of budget reallocations, improved tax revenue collection, and reductions in administrative inefficiencies. There are also discussions underway with international development partners to secure additional financial support for South Africa's social welfare programs. While these financial strategies appear sound on paper, economists warn that they must be implemented carefully to avoid creating budget deficits or placing undue pressure on other essential services like healthcare and education. Let's not forget the human side of this story. For millions of South Africans, these payments are not just numbers on a spreadsheet, they are lifelines. Whether it's an elderly woman using her older person's grant to buy food and medicine, a young mother relying on the child support grant to care for her baby, or a disabled person counting on their grant for daily survival, these changes matter deeply. And that's why it's crucial for everyone, recipients, family members, community leaders, and civil society organizations, to stay informed, speak up, and hold the system accountable. To that end, SASSA is urging all current beneficiaries to re-verify their personal and banking details before the end of May. This step is mandatory for continued eligibility under the new system. If your information is outdated or incorrect, you may face payment delays or even suspension. So if you or someone you know receives a grant, now is the time to act. Visit your nearest SASSA office, go online to the official website, or call the customer care line to ensure everything is up to date. Looking ahead, the changes coming in June 2025 may represent the most comprehensive overhaul of the SASSA system in over a decade. While there are bound to be growing pains, the long-term vision is one of inclusivity, efficiency, and resilience. By increasing grant values, expanding eligibility, improving technology, and tightening verification, SASSA is aiming to build a future where social grants provide more than just survival, they provide stability and a path to opportunity. However, the success of these reforms will depend not just on government actions, but also on community engagement, media oversight, and the willingness of citizens to stay vigilant. In closing, the upcoming changes to SASSA payments in June 2025 are big, bold, and potentially transformative. They signal a government that is listening, at least in part, to the cries of its people and trying to adapt to the realities of the 21st century. But they also come with challenges, uncertainties, and responsibilities for all of us to navigate together. So whether you're a beneficiary, a concerned citizen, or simply someone who wants to understand how social justice and economic policy intersect in real life, this is a moment to pay close attention. Make sure you're informed, make sure your documents are in order, and most importantly, spread the word to those who might not be aware of what's coming. Change is coming, let's be ready for it together. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with your community, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on all the latest SASSA developments and more important news that impacts your life. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and take care.